My name is Katya or Toxic Art, and welcome to my first video here on YouTube. I am currently a freelance artist specializing in realistic portraits of both people and animals, but I'm also working toward finding work in the field of scientific or medical illustration since that's what I got my bachelor's degree in. And today I'm going to be filling a spread in my sketchbook for Inktober, and I'm going to be explaining a little bit about the way I do Inktober. Yeah, let's just get right into it. So this is the little sketchbook that I have that I've been using. So I already sketched out the two prompts that I'm going to be doing today for days 13 and 14. So these are the only two paints that I'm going to be using, and this is what I've been using for Inktober so far. Payne's Gray, this one is from Gamblin, and then just titanium white, and I have this giant tube, and this one's from Winsor & Newton. And now I'm just going to start transferring my sketches over into the sketchbook. For my sketching, I'm using just these Arteza watercolor pencils. I like the way that they kind of just blend in with the oil paint. I pre-gessoed the pages and then sanded it down a little bit, so it makes the pages a little bit faded, but I don't really mind. I used clear gesso instead of white to keep the black of the sketchbook pages. So I've tried in years past to do Inktober traditionally with ink, but I found that ink is just not my medium and I much prefer painting. So last year, for the first time, I decided to do Inktober, but change it into a kind of Oiltober, where instead of doing an ink drawing for every day of October, I do an oil painting. So when I first saw the official Inktober prompt list, I just wasn't really interested in most of the prompts, so I decided to look for other ones that would inspire me a little bit more. So this year I am following two different prompt lists. The main one that I'm following is from another artist here on YouTube and Instagram. Her name is Tsunani. I hope I'm saying that right. And as soon as I saw her list, I just knew that it vibed with me a little bit more than the official one. And I'm also following a little bit, just some of the prompts from another artist named Crixus. She's doing Calmtober, and it just has some really nice cozy prompts. And hers is actually every second day of the month, so I'm just using some where I want to replace prompts from the other prompt list. So this first prompt that I'm doing for day 13 is from Calmtober, although it's actually the 11th prompt that she has, and it's moth. This one resonates with me since I'm really interested in becoming a scientific illustrator, so I love all things insects, and as you'll see with the next one, birds and animals, all things like that. So I just felt like this was one that I really had to do. And so for all of these prompts that I'm doing for this year and for all of the ones that I did last year, I'm actually doing self-portraits. So for each prompt, I take a selfie in a specific position that I feel like will fit with the object or whatever the prompt is, like how I can add that in. And then I just make that image black and white. It's a little bit easier to look at the values off of that. And then I just kind of sketch out an idea that combines the prompt with a self-portrait, and then I just get to painting. These paintings are definitely meant to be more like studies instead of full-on paintings, so the most that any of these take me is probably about an hour and a half. I try not to spend too much time or else I get lost in the details, which is just something I tend to do with every single painting, no matter how much I tell myself that it's just going to be a quick painting. So with completing this challenge last year and then doing it again this year, it's really helped me to grow as an artist with focusing more on the values and just being able to sketch quicker, get the proportions down, and then just get right into the painting instead of worrying about every single detail and doing like the grid method or transferring a perfect sketch and coloring that in with every little detail, every little pore. This is more just about the idea and having fun with combining prompts and things that I would never normally draw or paint and creating something new. So for this second prompt, it is from Tsunani's prompt list, and it is for day 14, and it's Raven. I have just started getting into birds a little bit more. I hadn't painted birds, and then the past few months I've done a few birds and have learned a little bit more about the feathers and things like that, and so I really want to get better at doing them since they're something that I had never really explored before. So for these, I do mainly focus on the face so that I can get the proportions and likeness down as best as I can in a short or relatively short amount of time, and then I add in the element the way that I kind of came up with from the sketch. I've always been into self-portraits since I started painting with oils years ago, and so that's really why I decided to do this as my October challenge instead of doing just the traditional Inktober where you just follow the prompt list and draw what the actual prompt is, like a backpack or things like that. So that's kind of the background for this challenge and why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's just more personalized to me, and it's something that will actually help me grow instead of doing something like ink, which is not my preferred medium. I actually really enjoyed painting these two prompts a lot since they are more combining scientific illustration along with the portraits. I also just want to say that I'm not painting these exactly every single day of October. I like to give myself a little bit of a break. On some days I'll do sketching for a few different prompts, and then the next day I'll do a couple paintings. Since I'm doing this in a sketchbook too, it's hard to paint every single day because the paint has to dry since I'm using oil paint. Mainly what I've been doing is doing the sketches for the two prompts that will be on the same spread in my little sketchbook, so I get all the ideas figured out. Then I'll transfer them, put them into my actual painting sketchbook, and then I will paint the two in that one spread on the same day, so then I can have the next day to go back to sketching again and let the paint dry and repeat the process. I just wanted to share a little bit of my artwork. I love watching other artists here on YouTube share their process. It's fun to see how other people go about creating, whether it be painting like I am or doing any type of illustration. With doing this challenge and coming up with ideas for each of the prompts, I really just want to share how important it is to just get creative, get in your sketchbook, get those ideas down, because you never know what can come out of them. And it's so easy to get stuck in your own head about creating the perfect piece and making sure everything turns out exactly like you envision it. But with doing a challenge like this where there's a time limit, you can't spend hours and hours every single day creating a piece. It's more just about the feeling and really just taking a little bit of time to create art. I'm not sure exactly where I want to go with this YouTube channel. I just thought, why not try? I've thought about it for years and years, and I finally decided there's no better time to start than just now. This is the first full-length spread that I've filmed this way, but I also am doing little reels on my Instagram every single day for each of the prompts. I've just really been enjoying doing this every single day, working on a new little portrait, and at the end of it, it's so rewarding to look back and see all the work that you've done in a month. It's fun to see all the ideas, and maybe one of them will turn into a bigger painting, who knows? I think it's just really fun to set this time aside and really push yourself and grow as an artist. So here is the final spread for the prompts Moth and Raven. I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. These are mostly just sketches, help get me a little bit more used to doing quick oil paint studies instead of spending hours and hours trying to get every single detail perfect. And I just really love these prompts because they include things that I'm more interested in, the scientific realm of scientific illustration, that kind of thing, so the moth and the raven. But that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed my first video. I want to keep doing videos like this where I fill pages in my sketchbook and maybe even do some larger paintings or some more scientific or medical illustration if anyone is interested in that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!